Go ahead, David. Hi, Jos. Where was the game lost today?
I think especially in the first 10 overs with the ball, I thought we were a long way short of the standards we set ourselves. The game before, and we let Ireland get away from us, and I thought we dragged it back well in the second half, but that put a lot of pressure on us right from the start.
Was there any disappointment at the time you came off? Do you think you maybe could have fit a couple more balls in? And
not really, to be honest. I think it was getting quite heavy, and of course we'd love to stay on and try and hit a couple of sixes if we could, but it got heavy, and I think the game was lost before that point. I think we were a long way short of where we needed to be, right throughout the game, and Ireland deserved to win.
What do you say to the lads to kind of get them up? Did you need to say much at all?
I think you should let it hurt, to be honest. I think days like today are really, really disappointing, and you've got to feel that. There's no point saying, let's sweep it under the carpet and move on. I think we've got to reflect. We've got to do it quickly, obviously with a game very soon after, but today should hurt.
You've had World Cup setbacks before, obviously most notably in 2019. Can you lean on that, or because it's such a different tournament and with the games coming thick and fast, is that something you can rely on or not?
Yeah, the character in the group is strong. We'll be hurting today and we'll be disappointed, but no doubt I expect a reaction from the team.
Just while the bowling, you say, was a bit lacklustre in that first 10 overs, you did manage to drag it back, and at the halfway stage, did you still fancy 158, a very gettable target?
Yeah, I think we were favourites at that stage as well. I think obviously with the benefit of winning the toss, to chase when there is weather around, we could see what Duckworth Lewis was the whole time, and we never, we lost early wickets and never managed to sort of bridge that gap quickly enough to make sure that if it did start to get heavy, we were in a position to either be ahead or try and get further ahead.
What are your thoughts about the batting? You said you lost early wickets again. The batting has really kind of spluttered a bit over here in Australia. Do you feel that that's an area that's hurting you at the moment?
I wouldn't say it's splattered in Australia. I think maybe one game against Afghanistan. I think the games before that we've batted well. So I think there's a lot of excellent batters in our team. Obviously, disappointing start today. Take full responsibility myself, and lose wickets like that. It puts pressure on. I thought Ireland showed us how to bowl on that wicket. They found a movement and created problems. I think that's just a really disappointing day.
We'll go Chris, Mel, and then George.
Hi, Jos. Result today makes Friday's game bigger than it was already, really. It's a virtual eliminator. Whoever loses is probably out of the tournament. Are you confident this group of players can deal with that stress and that pressure and come through the other side?
Yeah, of course. That's what World Cup cricket's about. Of course, we wanted to be going into that game having won 2 games from 2, but at some point in this tournament, the way it's set up, you're in must-win games the majority of the time, and of course Friday's already a big occasion, playing Australia at the MCG, and it takes on that extra bit now with both teams having lost 1 game.
David mentioned 2019, that was a tournament where you had 0 margin for error with about 4 or 5 games to go. Does that experience for the guys who were there, like you and Ben, will that be something you can draw on over the next few days and kind of gain inspiration from? You've done it once before.
Yeah, of course. I think there's a lot of experienced cricketers in our dressing room who will have been set back at certain times in their career, whether it be the 2019 World Cup, whether it be in a franchise tournament, whether it be before in international cricket. So certainly guys who understand how to deal with the emotions of great disappointment like today. You've got to deal with it. There's no point trying to hide away from the feelings you have. You've got to deal with those very quickly, and tomorrow we sort of get over it and look forward to the Australia game.
Go ahead, Mel.
Jos, yesterday you spoke a lot about reacting quickly, especially looking at the different scenarios and possible weather and shortened games. Was that a factor at all today in maybe not adapting or reacting or realising things quickly enough?
I think we were a long way short of just the skill level today. We didn't perform well enough. We try and react to situations, but we didn't show a good enough reaction at times. I guess with the benefit of hindsight, and when the weather did come, to have the two guys in who were in, for those guys only to face 12 or 13 balls in a game, you're obviously hoping the game goes all the way, and they would hopefully see you home. But obviously it feels, certainly sat here now, Livingston and Moeen Ali only facing very few balls in the game. Two guys with immense power and finishing ability. Is there a way we could have got them more involved in the game if we knew maybe the game would be shorter?
And just on the group itself, I mean, talk about Friday being big. There's still weather around New Zealand, Afghanistan. We don't know what will happen there. But just a word on how this group looks at the moment.
Oh, I don't understand the question.
Just the fact that it's so wide open.
Oh, the whole group. Oh, there's
yeah.
in the actual group. Okay. It is open. I think with teams beating each other, with weather around, we don't know exactly how things are going to pan out. And again, that just makes it, probably more disappointing with today, actually. The fact that we had everything in our favour today in terms of winning the toss, so we knew exactly what was required of us. To not take advantage of that certainly hurts. But the group is wide open. There's plenty of things that could happen, whether it's due to weather or teams beating each other. So, but we have to dust ourselves down and get back to playing better cricket.
We'll do George and then two more on this side.
To be fair to the bowlers in that first bit, were the conditions very difficult? Was it hard to hold the ball, keep footing? Is that some sort of mitigation?
Yeah, I think it's certainly a factor. The outfield was very wet the whole game, and I've never bowled a ball really in my life, but I'm sure running up with a bit of unsure footing, it maybe doesn't allow you to commit to that landing and stuff as much as you'd like to. But still, we've got some brilliant players there, some guys who will have experienced conditions like that before, and we weren't. It wasn't that we were a little bit off. I thought we were just too far off. More so that first 10 overs. Post that, I thought we were excellent. But it took us a bit too long to get to the level we needed to be.
Was the plan to go a bit shorter, go just back of the length and let the wicket do the work, really, which is kind of what Ireland did?
Yeah, that was certainly what we were trying to do. I think as you saw when Ireland bowled, there was movement. There was a bit of uneven bounce in the wicket. And I think it's probably our lines that hurt us a little bit with that, and just not being consistent enough. And all credit to Ireland, they used the conditions well.
They were also 2 overs behind with the over rate. I don't know. I mean, they were drying the ball, no doubt. But is that something that should be looked at? Because I think I'm right in saying if Moeen had hit the very next ball for 6, you'd have been ahead.
Yeah, it's certainly something. Whether it's gamesmanship or what you call it, maybe they knew the rain was coming and could slow the game up. But I think we had lost the game before that point. As I mentioned, we had all the things that we needed in our favour. Now, if we were ahead of Duckworth Lewis, they wouldn't have been slowing the game down. So I think we should take responsibility ourselves, and we should never let it get to that kind of situation.
Gentleman in the middle, and then we'll finish off at the front.
Jos, you have won the toss today, and you knew that the rain was expected. So it could be better that you bat first and to get a target for the Ireland?
No, I disagree. I think we did the right thing. We just didn't play well.
Can you pass the mic to the front, please? Thank you.
Hi, Jos. The word you used earlier to describe the group was hurting. I'm just curious if the opposition, if does that increase that emotion, given that it's Ireland, or if this scenario was happening on Friday against Australia, would the feeling be any stronger or weaker?
No, I think there's certainly the expectation was on us to win the game today. I think we should be expecting to beat an Ireland team. We expected a tough challenge, but we should be expected to win that game. So of course that adds extra disappointment. I think whether you say we're favourites or not going into an Australia game is more of a different conversation. So I think that adds extra hurt, especially.